is the big key. Oh my lord, that is like the elephant in the room.
Another banger. Make a boom, make a boom, make a keep a boom, 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 your body.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Deerenee's The OT Chronicles. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. You already know what to do. Make sure you do those 3 big things for me. You hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and then leave me a comment down below so we can interact. I love interacting with all of you. And so yeah, we're gonna get into today's video. Okay, so for today's video, I'm actually going to be talking to you about fieldwork. So cheesy. Okay, so fieldwork. I specifically am going to talk to you about level 1 fieldwork because that is basically what you go through first, and then you go into your level 2s, which I am going to be starting in September. So you are actually going to be getting double the information because I'm going to share with you everything from my level 1, and then when I start my level 2s, I'm going to show you that whole process. And I'm also going to share with you everything that I kind of got to kind of prep for level 2, because level 2, honey, like, it's not easy. So yeah, first, kind of let's go over what fieldwork is for my people who do not know what fieldwork is at all. And I'll kind of explain the difference between level 1 fieldwork and the difference between level 2 fieldwork. Okay, so level 1 fieldwork. Basically what level 1 fieldwork is that you're going into your facilities. The way my program was set up is you do your first level 1, your second semester in a pediatric facility. Then you do an adult placement your 3rd semester. And then your 4th semester, you're gonna do an older adult placement. Now, every program is completely different. However, I do believe that you need to go through 3 level 1 placements and then possibly your 2 level 2s. Like, I know for sure you have to do 6 months of your level 2s. But for your level 1s, I don't know, in New Jersey, you do 3 level 1s. So yeah, a level 1 is you essentially are going for 10 weeks. You go 1 day out of the week. For me, it was every Wednesday I went. And you're basically kind of like an aide, I would like to say. You're there to learn. You're there to kind of feel comfortable. You're there to ask questions. You're there to learn. Like, I don't know how else to explain that, but like, yeah, so with your supervisors, they can change. So every supervisor is different because every person is different. Everyone does OT differently, but kind of because we're creative. So it's not going to be the same for every person. But what I will say is that for level 1, depending on your supervisor, you're going to figure out if you can be more involved with the patients or if you just have to take a seat back and just observe. It's kind of like observation hours for you if you do get a supervisor that does not kind of want you to involve or interact with the patients too much. I don't really like placements like that because I feel like I'm not really learning as much as I possibly could if I was able to interact with the patients a little bit more. But everyone's different. I know for me, I was blessed. Whoop, whoop. I was blessed with amazing experiences at all of my facilities, and all of my supervisors were great. They let me be hands-on, which is deep hands. I was very hands-on. I treated patients myself, and yeah, that's very rare. So I definitely will say, like, level 1 is such a great opportunity for you as a student because you can learn so much in such a short amount of time because you're only there for 1 day. And yeah, when you're there for that 1 day, you need to get in, have a mission. Like, I'm trying to learn as much as possible because you never know what's gonna happen. Like, for me, in my older adult placement, I was kicked out of my placement 4 weeks early. So I didn't even get to finish my 10 weeks there. And so, I don't know, like, I'm very happy with the amount of effort that I put in, all of the things that I learned with older adults. However, I do wish that I would have been able to do my 10 weeks because I really did enjoy my placement. So yeah, that's a little bit of background on what level 1 fieldwork is. Okay, so now we're gonna get into level 2 fieldwork. Level 2 fieldwork, that is
the big key. Oh my lord, that is like the elephant in the room, honey. Like,
level 2 is basically you are a therapist up under an actual occupational therapist. So you have so much more responsibility. You're helping way more with treatment plans. You're essentially creating treatment plans. You're creating everything that you're doing for the patients, because we're preparing you to be an occupational therapist. Like, level 2, I will say, is not a game nor a joke. Like, you need to take that very seriously. And it honestly could be scary. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little scared, just a tad. I'm a little scared, I'm a little nervous, just because I really want to do well. And level 2 gives you the opportunity to, honestly, you can get a job like right after level 2 if you do really well at your placement. And that doesn't mean anything for level 1, because level 1 you can do the same exact thing. I know every level 1 placement that I've been to, I've left a lasting impression, and they told me to leave my resume with them after I get my boards done and become certified. So that's kind of what you want to do. Level 2, you're doing 12 weeks. You're doing 2 rotations. So you're doing your 12 weeks, 40 hours a week at a placement. And yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I already went to like Target, got some stuff, went on Amazon, ordered some stuff, ordered some books. I'm gonna make a whole separate video on that, on how I'm prepping for it. I'm actually gonna take you to my storage unit and show you all of my different like binders and stuff, so you can kind of do like a little study with me, so you can understand like what I'm going to be doing to kind of prep for my level 2, because my level 2 is actually in a school district, so I will be with children. And as you know, if you watched my previous video, if you have not watched my previous video, hold up, honey, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm like, hello. They didn't watch my video. Oh my gosh. Go watch my video. Go watch it. I'll put the thing right here. It's right here. Go watch that video. If you watch that video, you would know that I want to work with kids. Hello. I want to work with the kiddos. So I'm super excited that I'll be in a school district for my level 2 starting in September. So, and yeah, we actually just got some news from New Jersey from Governor Murphy, and he is opening the school districts for the fall. So very exciting. And yeah, I'm excited, but I'm scared, but I'm nervous, but I'm excited. I even ordered scrubs. Like, I'm so excited because I have so much stuff to do, but yeah. Yay. Okay, so now I'm going to be talking to you about my 3 level 1 experiences. I will first start off with my PEDS experience. I absolutely love my PEDS. By far, it was my favorite experience. I was at a special services school district. If you don't know much about a special services school district, what you should know is that students that are in the school district, they don't actually leave school until they're 21 years old. So it's not like a regular high school or anything like that. And specifically in this district, it actually went from pre-K to high school. So I was kind of floating around the entire building, and I just thought that was absolutely amazing. However, most of my time was spent, because my OT specifically, there was like 5 OTs, and 2 codas. My OT spent most of her time with pre-K to 2nd grade. So of course, that's where your girl was at, pre-K to 2nd grade. And I think it was 2nd grade because I think it's like 8 years old. I'm not sure, but I think 8 years old is like 2nd grade. So pre-K to 2nd grade. And yeah, so I spent most of my time with them. So I was actually seeing like a range of things. A lot of the diagnoses that I saw, they were actually diagnoses that I've never seen before or heard of in my entire life. And the children definitely had things about them that were very unique, and it was definitely something you had to take into consideration when you were going over their IEPs, developing treatment plans, things of that nature. I thought it was absolutely amazing because I got to see like the behaviors, which we talk about in class a lot. Now, if you don't know what I mean, I'm talking about the hitting, I'm talking about and vulgar language being used by the children. I saw so much. I actually found out what crisis was. Like, I saw crisis team management in person, which I think is very, it's a lot to take in once you first see it. It's way different than when you learn about it in class and then when you see it in person. So yeah, I definitely saw all of it. And I think it was my most favorite experience because I actually felt like I was making a difference with the children. The different things that I was doing with the kids just made me so happy. And I remember there was a child and she had a Down syndrome diagnosis, and she literally just warmed my heart. And she was just, like, even to this day, like, I will never forget this child because she was my favorite. She legitimately, and I don't like to have favorites, but like, you can see it on my face, like, she was my favorite. I loved working with her. She just brightened my day. And just seeing how she was growing and progressing just made me extremely happy. And honestly, I would say my supervisor and the way everyone treated me there, I felt so welcomed. I felt like I was actually learning. They asked me questions. They got to get to know me, and I got to get to know them. So yeah, I can't tell you more information about it without giving it away of where I was at. But definitely, if it wasn't placed in an area that I didn't want to live, I would obviously apply, like, as soon as I got certified and everything. But it's in an area I really don't want to live, so I don't know. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. So my second placement was with adults. Now, this facility was role emerging. So if you don't know what role emerging is, that means there is no occupational therapist at this setting. That is the possible settings that you can get when you're in fieldwork. Personally, I'm not a fan of role emerging just because I feel like I want to learn from an actual occupational therapist. However, I will say I needed that experience to kind of build confidence within myself and my abilities to create treatment plans and work with patients confidently. So I will say at least complete one role emerging so you have that experience up under your belt. But yeah, I had this placement, and at the placement it was with adults with developmental disabilities. So at my other placement I was working with children, and now I'm working with adults. And honestly, at first I was like, this is not for me. Like, I don't know if I like this kind of like setting. It was very underfunded. Role emerging settings usually are underfunded, which you will figure out once you learn more and more about the setting. However, what I will say is that the people that worked at that facility really loved those patients, really had bonds with those patients. And it was very easy to kind of work with everyone there. Like, it was super chill, super nice. They had 2 different rooms, and one room was individuals who had developmental disabilities, and that was a room that had about 20 people in it. But then you had another room that actually had about 60 people in it, and they did not have developmental disabilities. They had other mental health diagnoses, same like schizophrenia, things like personality disorders, like BPD, if you don't know, bipolar personality disorders, things like that. So I definitely got experience in that. And what I loved about it though was, I don't know if it's just like me, but I just tend to gravitate and just tend to really connect with the patients that have developmental disabilities. So I loved, when I say loved, I mean loved, working in the back room, because they had a room that had like a garden and all these different things in it. It had colors everywhere. It was a very colorful kind of room. And I loved working with the individuals that were in that room because they really try so hard, and they put so much effort into what they're learning, and you just really see an impact with them. And I felt like the patients that I was working with when I was working in the different room that has 60 people in it, I also felt that, like, I don't know if I was making such an impact on them. I was connecting with them, yes, like I would have regular conversations with them. And I had to soon realize that, like, you can be manipulated in that situation. Like, I remember there was a patient there who told me this whole story about how he worked here and did this and did that, and it sounded like legitimate. Like, I was like, oh my goodness, like, wow. And then I talked to like my supervisor, and she was like, no, none of that is true. And I was like, oh, okay. And I just like forgot that of like where I was for a second, and I was like, oh, like I have to like pay more attention to different things like that. So I definitely felt like I learned so much at that facility. I learned definitely how to create treatment plans and many other different kind of things for individuals with developmental disabilities, as well as individuals with mental health diagnoses as well. All right, and then my last placement was at an acute inpatient hospital. And I felt so fancy saying that because the people at this placement, the OTs, and actually like everyone, they wore white coats. And I've never seen like OTs with white coats. And I don't know, I just felt so fancy. I was like, oh, hello, call me Dr. Deereneee. Like, I was just, so fancy. So I actually got to work with them and it was super chill. Like, it was very chill. It was what you would expect at an acute inpatient rehab facility. I actually spent a lot of my time with my OT running up and down the different floors, helping the different individuals. It was a lot of ortho work, for orthopedic work. So a lot of total hip replacements, a lot of knee replacements, things like that. Again, this setting was older adults. So it was more of just educating them, a lot of patient education, which is something that I actually was like learning in class at the time. So I actually had a practical and things like that. And what I had to do was, I remember for my practical, I had to work with a patient, but we had actors come in for our practicals, and the patient had a diagnosis of a below the knee amputation, and I had to teach them how to wrap their limb, their residual limb, as well as I believe transfer from the bed to the wheelchair, like something like that. And that's something that I actually saw and had to do in my fieldwork. And so I had practice with it, and so when I did it on my practical, I got 96, and I was like I did a really good job. So I definitely think that with that placement, I learned a lot. I wish I could have stayed for the last 4 weeks. That would have been amazing. But I definitely learned more about myself throughout the entire process of my level ones. I figured out what I'm comfortable with, what I'm uncomfortable with. I figured out what I'm really passionate about, what I'm good at, what I'm not good at. So I definitely think fieldwork is such a learning experience. It's something you should all be so excited for because, girl or boy or everyone, it is so much fun and you're gonna learn, but you're gonna be struggling a little bit because I know I was struggling. But now look at me and I'm fine. Like, I'm fine. I feel prepared. And so, yeah, that was my level 1 experience. Okay, so that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for staying all the way to the end. If you stayed all the way to the end, here is a sneak peek of what I got for my level 2 placement. All right, so I got this bag, Tarjay baby. Got this bag. Inside of this bag has some of my level 2 stuff. Now, I'm just gonna show you. I'll show you my notebook. This is the notebook that I got. Now, this is something that I recommend that everyone have for their placements. This is something that you can transfer your notes into because you're going to walk around with these. These tiny notebooks are things that you can put into your pocket, into your scrub pocket, into your white coat pockets, whatever pocket. Take your notes on this and then transfer it into a bigger notebook to keep everything organized. Now, I'm not gonna go through the whole backpack because then this video is gonna be too long. So that's just a little sneak peek of what I got. I have so much other stuff that I ordered. I even ordered this book, and I'm excited to show you this book because everyone has been ranting about this book. So stay tuned for my next video, which is going to be how I prep for fieldwork. And yeah, it also may be my white coat ceremony video because I'm actually going to be doing like a mini photo shoot with my white coat because I did receive my white coat. And yeah, so stay tuned for my future videos. We're about to be lit on this channel. And yeah, I'm so excited for what's gonna come in the future. I'm excited for fieldwork. And if you're excited for fieldwork, comment down below, let me know, and let me know what other content you wanna see as well. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!
Another banger. Make a phone, boom, boom.